Amen and amen. I want to thank God, I tell you, for just who he is. I'm telling you, see, we can't take him for granted. I want to thank God for the lovely overseer of these wonderful ministries, Overseer Vincent Maxwell. I want to thank God for my husband, my God, and just family. And I tell you, we have to be careful in how we speak about certain things that we ask God for. Because there are times in our lives that we want to ask God, hey, God, bring my family together. God, help me to stay away from my addiction to certain individuals. And the thing is, when God does it, do we listen or are we going to complain and murmur?
Yes, Lord.
The main thing we asking God for, and when he does it, because it's not the way we think it should be, we want to complain. God always gives a solution.
Yes, Lord.
He has an answer for every question that we hold in our heart, even the questions that we don't ask. God has the solution.
Yes, Lord.
My God, but we finna go ahead and get into this word. We finna come out of Matthew chapter 6, starting at verse 33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness,
yes, Lord.
and all these things shall be added to you. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about its own things. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble.
Yes, Lord.
See, the title that God gave me is Seek, Seek, Seek.
Yes, Lord.
See, so that's why I say God take me out. Hey, God do what he want to do.
Yes, Lord.
But see, we got to understand in this season, we still got to continue to seek God. I don't care what it is, what may be coming about. I don't care what the government say. Because right now, God put us under a spiritual quarantine.
Yes, Lord.
See, just like in the days of, my God, Moses, when the people were crying to be delivered. Everyone crying, all the children of Israel were crying to be delivered. But the thing is, they had a Pharaoh that was in charge of them. But in that process of them crying out, they were constantly seeking God's face,
yes, Lord,
for deliverance. See, it may happen in many type of things that God, see, you got to think about it now time. You can't blame Pharaoh for your Egypt experience.
yes, Lord.
God trying to take us out of our own Egypt experience.
All right.
That mentality, that spiritual bondage that we took upon ourselves.
Yes, Lord.
It's almost like eating forbidden fruit. So now that we have asked God to remove these things and help my family and bring us closer together. Now that God has done it, people are complaining and murmuring.
Yes, Lord.
But instead of seeking God in the situation that's going around, not even paying attention that since we've been under this quarantine, that's been the grace of protection that God has bestowed on what's coming. See?
Yes,
but in the process of that, a lot of people been seeking God. That's what God been saying. A lot of people been seeking his face, constantly seeking his face. Now that the sun is coming out brighter, now people are having more freedom because now certain things getting opened back up. Because all the complaining and murmuring, that also has reached the ears of God.
Yes, Lord.
Now God is giving the people what they want.
Yes, Lord.
See, we got to remember that when Moses had actually got the children of Israel out of Egypt, God provided manna.
Yes, Lord.
God has still been providing us manna still in this whole season.
Yes, Lord.
Pretty much taking care of the needs. And just when people were thinking like, well, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? God allowed it. I know but now everybody didn't receive that little extra.
Yes, Lord.
But the thing is, are we still being good stewards?
Glory.
Are we still seeking God's face with that same energy?
Yes, Lord.
That we were at first?
Glory.
Were we still staying in preparation, waiting on a promise from God?
Glory.
See, a while back, God had told me that he was going to do something that's going to shake everyone. Yes. And when he meant everyone, that means from the saint to the ain't, or whatever you want to call yourself.
All right.
He said that next wave of what he going to be, because he's been doing it for years. He's been causing a ripple effect.
Yes, Lord.
He been showing.
Yeah.
He been talking. Been talking, but you know what? People be thinking, okay, oh, it ain't gonna come. I'm not gonna listen to those prophets They keep bringing that gloom and loom prophecy words. But my thing is this: as long as God is speaking, that's a good thing.
Yes, Lord.
It's a marvelous thing as long as God continues to speak. Because the thing is, when he stops speaking and when calamity happens, then people go seeking for the prophet. Then people start seeking for a word from God.
Yes, Lord.
But when God always deliver, oh, I'm cool now. I know it ain't what they said it was going to be.
Yes, Lord.
The news putting it out like it's this.
Yes, Lord.
Some people are just being afraid, being fearful. There's a difference from being fearful and being wise.
All right.
Because as you remember, before the children of Israel left Egypt, God had to prove a point. God had to prove a point to Pharaoh. But see, again, now God got you looking at your own Pharaoh within you.
Yes, Lord.
God is talking to them spirits that's trying to hold you bound, but I can't even say they trying to hold you bound. This is what you like.
All right.
Some people like mingling with Pharaoh.
Yes, Lord.
Some people like still staying in Egypt. But why complain about it when you love it?
Glory.
Because now God is saying it's the time to move out. But the thing is, you got to think about it. A lot of things had to happen before. God gave all kind of wonders. He gave all kind of signs and wonders. But you know what? People want to seek their own self.
Yes, Lord.
They want to seek their own magicians. And still try to discredit the God who gave us all life.
Yes, Lord.
See, we got to listen and pay attention to the signs. See, the thing is, people still want to listen to the big part of it. They want to see the big stuff.
Yes, Lord.
You're looking for the big things, but God said pay attention to them small details.
Yes, Lord.
See, this quarantine has been pretty much like a nationwide or world fast.
Yeah, that's good.
The quarantine is basically a fast from God.
Yes, Lord.
Because things that we have put as our idol. Okay, now God said, I'm going to shut that up.
Yeah.
Come see me.
Yeah.
Come seek me.
That's good.
You better be trying to get away from certain people. Okay, come seek me because now I got a social distance order. Yeah, my God.
That's good. Yes, Lord. Yes.
God said, since don't nobody have time for me, now I'm going to make it to where you got time.
All right.
See, certain things that God had placed and gave us instruction on to do, but we so distracted, but God, I ain't got time. I got to do this. I got to do that. Now God has made time for you to fulfill the destinies and the visions that he didn't give you.
Yes, Lord.
See, God been trying to speak to that spiritual Egypt within us of let my people go.
Yeah.
See, that's why some that are really truly in tune with God, the quarantine hasn't really phased them because they already know, they already receiving the instruction. They're not complaining and murmuring. Only thing they can do is prepare and take and follow the instruction of what God has given.
Yes, Lord.
But of course, God been saying this a while back. Sometimes some people got to start planting and sowing their own garden.
Yes, Lord.
Because if you're prepared and people are like, well, I ain't got no yard. I ain't got this. If you got a patio, you can start it in containers.
Yes, Lord.
People think they got to have certain things. No. But God is steady wakening up his people.
Yes.
See, the thing is, don't get it twisted and think that it's over.
My God.
See, the enemy waiting for you to get that in the mindset and get that in the heart. Oh, that it's over now.
Oh, glory.
See, because now we become like the children of Israel and we've been complaining and murmuring about the manna that God has given us. Yes. We've been complaining and murmuring about now it ain't nothing to do, but God said, I gave you something to do.
Yes, Lord.
See, you got individuals say, well, I want to get myself right before I go to church.
Okay.
Now God had shut up the church houses.
Oh, glory.
where you can't just go in and fellowship as usual. Because you know why? So many people get to fellowship and so much, they really not coming there to listen to the word to apply to their life in the first place.
Uh-huh.
It's more to be seen.
Yes, Lord.
See, God said, I have shepherds that have been constantly preaching the truth. I ain't talking about the ones that preach what you want to hear.
All right. Lord.
But on top of that, God said, my people not taking home what they have learned. They're not allowing what's been said. Even the itching earwords, they're not even allowing what's being said to even penetrate.
Yes, Lord.
God said, all my people are doing is just going in, clocking in, doing their time. See, God looking at us as a whole.
Right.
I heard some people say, no, that ain't me. That ain't what I do.
Yes.
But God is looking at us as a whole.
Yes.
Because God said, if my people will truly receive the word and then go home and get a little bit more and seek me some more,
Yes, Lord.
you will have everything you need to where you wouldn't be running loose like your head cut off.
Oh, my God. Shut up.
God said, what y'all seen ain't even a scratch of a surface.
Yes, Lord. Glory.
This right now ain't nothing but like a dusting. That's what God called it. This is a dusting.
Yes, Lord.
This is a little sprinkle.
Glory.
But when God starts to cut
Yes, Lord.
in the earth,
Glory.
my question is, then will you believe?
My God.
See, this is why we have to seek God now. Seek his kingdom now. Because, my God, if we can't do it now,
Yes, Lord.
while we still have some freedoms,
Glory.
when the bigger stuff happen, how you going to deal with it?
Yes, Lord.
How are we going to deal with it?
My God.
My God. My goodness. Lord, have your way.
Yes, Lord.
Have your way.
Oh, glory, glory,
God gave me
glory.
Isaiah 55,
Yes,
6 and 7.
yes,
Seek the Lord while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near.
yes,
Let the wicked forsake his way and the unrighteous man his thoughts.
yes,
Let him return to the Lord and he will have mercy on him.
yes, Lord.
And our God, for he will abundantly pardon.
Yes,
See, I don't think nobody really paid attention to that part.
my God.
Again, seek the Lord while he may be found.
Yes,
That means while we have the opportunity now. That means now we need to be trying to get our relationships rooted
yes, Lord.
to where we're not shaken by anything.
Yeah.
We're not going to be shaken by anybody who want to come up with their new religion.
Uh-huh.
And see, that's what the world caught up in, religion, and they don't have relationship.
Yes,
It also said, let the wicked forsake his way and the unrighteous man his thoughts.
yes,
Thoughts.
yes.
People like, I got good things, but them thoughts.
All right.
The more you continue to dwell on a particular thing, it's going to enter into the heart.
Yes,
That means you ain't forsake no way because it's constantly on your mind.
my God.
Whatever that thing is that God been trying to break free in this quarantine. See, this quarantine has been, my God, our sackcloth and ashes.
Yes,
It's been supposed to be, but some people want to sneak and eat.
yes,
Some people want to sneak and eat of the forbidden fruit.
yes, Lord.
My God. Whoo, God messed my head up. Again, God said, my people want to have that mentality that I've fallen and I can't get up.
Yes, Lord.
When Jesus been saying, take up your mat and walk.
Lord.
Walk away from that Egypt.
Yes, Lord.
Walk away from that idolism
Yes, Lord.
of people. But it's so comfortable to me. See, that's why the people got to complaining so much, trying to get mad at Moses.
Uh-huh.
But when they seeking God's face to be delivered,
Glory.
didn't they see all the miraculous signs of wonders with the plagues? And the plague didn't touch them?
Yes, Lord.
They camp was safe.
My God.
God had put them under quarantine so he could do his work.
Yes.
And don't you know everyone that was found outside were pretty much in trouble. Trouble struck their houses.
Yes, Lord.
See?
Yes.
And this season, who we gonna believe? Who we gonna trust?
My God.
Who are we gonna trust in this season?
My God.
It's not the point of being prideful to test God,
Uh-huh.
but it's about following the instruction.
Yes, Lord.
Still, it ain't the time. Even though they open things up, it still ain't the time to go chill and mingle.
Yes, Lord.
It's not the time to try to go back to business as usual.
Glory.
Because you know what? God ain't done yet.
All right. No, he's not.
But have you been paying attention that God has been raining on the just and the unjust in this season?
Yes, Lord.
Don't you know everything that God has been blessing in this season? My God.
Glory.
God seeing how we're going to be good stewards of it.
Glory.
You see how God been having us to store up,
Yes, Lord.
to be prepared. But now I want to go have my fun. I want to go do this. I want to go get into this. Instead of want to be busy with getting in the presence of God, I want to be busy bodies with everything else.
Yes, Lord.
Because I'm bored. I just got to do something.
All right. Yes.
And the enemy ain't doing nothing. See, they let you know this is the reason why God gave me that. And let the unrighteous man his thoughts.
Yes.
Let the wicked forsake his way and the unrighteous man his thoughts. It's them thoughts.
Yes.
The thoughts of this flesh gonna have you doing some stuff you don't know. You know you don't need to be doing.
That's right.
That's contrary to the will of God and what he wants you to do this season.
Yes, Lord.
See, we got to understand none of this stuff is to hurt us,
Yes, Lord.
but it's to save us.
Yes.
Lamentations 3 and 25 and 26. The Lord is good to those who wait for him,
Uh-huh.
to the soul who seeks him.
Yes.
It is good that one should hope and wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord.
Yes.
See, this is still a time that we still need to be waiting for the salvation of the Lord.
Yes.
See, the enemy waiting on the pitfall.
Yes, Lord.
God, the enemy is waiting on, but you know what? God is going to allow it.
Yes, Lord.
People think like, well, why would God allow such a thing? And people want to say that it ain't God. But my thing is, all God got to do is take his hands off. God, if you go back and look at the other videos, God had told me this a long time ago. All he got to do is take his hand off.
Yes, Lord.
You got to think about it. He couldn't do nothing to Job
Uh-huh.
until he got permission.
Right.
But for those who want to say, oh, I'm so deep and God got my back and all this. So when tragedy happens, why is it that we can't stand?
All right.
Why is it that we still can't see God in everything, knowing he is in control?
Yes, Lord.
This is just a wake-up call.
Yes.
But it's not to be taken lightly.
Yes, Lord.
It's not to be taken lightly. But it said again, the Lord is good to those who wait for him, to the soul who seeks him.
Yes.
See, you got to understand, God knows everything. See, God was already strategically planning people where they didn't think they was finna go in this season.
Uh-huh.
And when God started strategically planning individuals, and they were wondering how they were going to be able to still pay their bills, and all of a sudden this hit.
Yes, Lord.
See, sometimes God got to take us out of our comfort zones.
Uh-huh.
One of my clients a while back, she said, well, listen, I've been praying for this job. And so she ended up getting a job. And for a minute, she tried to complain about the job. And I said, girl, you better start complaining about that job. I said, God got to take you out of your comfort zone.
Yes, Lord.
I said, because you don't know what's going to get ready and pop off.
Yeah.
Later on, after a while, she said, well, listen, I didn't like it, but I like it now. I said, you better like it. And I end up giving her a word, and I said, don't be surprised, your husband coming home next.
Yes, Lord.
And he's going to be working from home.
All right.
And so as we were sitting there talking about, all of a sudden, everything with the corona, everything getting shut down. And see, these are individuals who didn't think they was even going to have a job. They started laying off folks.
Yes, Lord.
And then she called me a couple of days later. She said, when my husband came home and said they finna let him work from home, she said, I sat there and I remembered you had told me the word.
Yes, Lord.
And I told her, I said, don't be surprised. I said, see how God is doing a setup? But only when individuals follow their instruction.
Yes, Lord.
But you got to follow the instruction to the T.
That's it.
To see the results.
Yes, Lord.
See, now is not the time to complain. I'm telling y'all need to see God in everything. I don't care what this situation may look like,
Yes.
how the enemy may think that, oh, it's going to be old sunshine days again. No,
Yes, Lord.
it's building again. God had me to say that he has things building like in waves. You know how waves come, and the stronger they come, they start to come even stronger.
Yeah.
See, that's why God trying to get us to a point that if we're truly listening to his voice now, we already know how to prepare. We ain't got to wait for the news people.
Yes, Lord.
We ain't got to wait for them and then it'd be a big rush of panic. Because God already been doing the talking.
Yes, Lord.
He been doing the talking through his true prophet. Because everybody claim they're a prophet. Now ain't no prophet.
Uh-oh.
The enemy got some prophets too.
Yes, Lord.
Yeah, he got some prophets and some priests.
Yes, Lord.
See,
All right.
but people not paying attention to that part.
Yes.
But again, Jesus said you're going to know them by their fruits.
Yes.
You will know them by their fruits.
Yes, Lord.
See, my God.
Lord.
But we got to continue to hope and wait quietly for God.
Yes, Lord.
We are to wait for the salvation of the Lord.
Yeah.
See. Because God ain't through.
No, he's not.
Okay, he ended up taking me to Ezekiel. Y'all may think this is off the subject, but no, it ties in. Ezekiel 7, starting at verse 24 to 27. Therefore, I will bring the worst of the Gentiles, and they will possess their houses. I will cause the pomp of the strong to cease.
All right.
And their holy places shall be defiled.
Yes, Lord.
Destruction comes. They will seek peace, but there shall be none. Disaster will come upon disaster, and rumor will be upon rumor.
Yeah.
Then they will seek vision from my prophet.
Yes, Lord.
But the law will perish from the priests and the council of the elders.
Yes, Lord.
The king will mourn, and the prince will be clothed with desolation, and the hands of the common people will tremble. I will do to them according to their way,
Glory.
and according to what they desire, I will judge them.
Yes, Lord.
Then they shall know that I am the Lord.
Glory.
See, God is just God. He can do what he want to do. But like I say, we have to get ourselves in position. Like our first lady of this love ministry, she also said earlier, we got to make sure the ducks are in the row.
Yeah.
See, they let you know that even though they open everything back out, see, God ain't pleased yet. He ain't pleased yet.
Yeah.
Why you think some leaders have died? It's one thing to die and have fulfilled your assignment.
Yes, Lord.
But when to die and your assignment not being filled,
My God.
come on now. Some pastors and bishops have died. They don't mean that they was out the will of God. Some have definitely fulfilled their assignment.
Yes, Lord.
But you got some went along in pride and didn't get to reach their final destination of where God wanted to take them to because they want to go their own way.
Yes, Lord.
See, every spiritual leader need to be teaching and constantly drilling in the minds of their congregation or whoever they're around that they have truly got to seek God for themselves.
That's it.
I'm telling you, your pastor can't preach you into heaven.
All right.
Your spiritual leader can't preach you to do right.
Yes, Lord.
They're going to tell you the word, and once it's off of them, it's on you.
Yes, Lord.
So if things don't come to pass and line up the way it's supposed to, you got to go back and check your instruction.
Yes, Lord.
What step did you miss?
All right.
We have to go back and check and see what step did we miss.
Yes, Lord.
But again, like First Lady said, make sure to check the ducks and make sure they in the row.
That's right.
Because if they in a row, all we supposed to do then is sit back and wait for the salvation of the Lord.
Yes, Lord. That's it.
Again, I don't care what it looked like. But as long as you done checked off your ducks,
Yes, Lord.
that means it's still waiting time.
Yes.
See,
Glory.
my God. My God.
Very again.
Again, if the ducks ain't in a row, disaster will come upon disaster and rumor will be upon rumor.
Yes, Lord.
Then they will seek the vision from a prophet.
Yes.
See, you better make sure you find the right one.
Yes, Lord.
Because you got some that's again going to tickle your fancy. Those are the ones sent from Satan.
Uh-huh.
Because the thing is, God said, I've already been given instruction. If you're not following the small instruction I done gave you already, how you going to try to do the bigger stuff?
Yes, Lord.
Y'all, we got to look at the small, fine details, the parts that people don't look at.
Yeah.
Forget the bigger picture. You got to think about it with a puzzle. A puzzle is not complete until every small piece is in place.
Yes, Lord.
But now I want to go to the big picture, but really I don't want to put the big picture together. But God going to make us work for it in this season.
Yes, Lord.
God said we got to do the work
Yes, Lord.
this season.
Glory.
And that starts with getting a firm foundation of a relationship.
Yes, Lord.
That means seeking God in all things.
Yeah.
When all this stuff started popping off, I told my husband, I said, I got to get my garden. I got to get my garden this year. I have got to get my garden this year. I said, I don't know what, basically, I didn't know what I was going to put in it,
Yes,
but I knew it had to get built and to get things prepared.
yeah.
See, my God,
Yes, Lord.
what if it comes a time that we can't go out and get food?
Right there.
What if we on a certain curfew that we only allow a certain hours of the day that we can go out?
Yep.
What if everything get limited to maybe 3 to 4 hours a day?
Yes, Lord.
See. See, if you can't count on nobody else, you can count on God.
That's right.
See, God is trying to help us dry out to this world.
Yes.
To not depend on physical individuals,
Yes, Lord.
but to seek him every day as our daily bread.
Yeah.
To seek him as our fresh manna. Because you know what? That's what's going to sustain us.
That's right.
See, because you got to think about all of us are given the same measure of faith.
Yes.
No one's faith is greater than the other. I mean, it starts the same amount.
Yes. Yep.
But the thing is, every time something bad, you think something bad happens, would that make you let it go?
All right.
No, that's the time to hold on to it even more.
Yes, Lord.
So you can have people around you that have faith all day, but if you're not going to believe, how can it truly manifest in your life?
Yes, Lord.
How can it manifest in your life?
My God.
See, when God bring you across people who truly got a relationship and they pray on your behalf,
Yes.
if you coming to them to pray on your behalf, you have got to be, my God, in connection with the prayer.
Yes. That's it.
You can't be like, sister, pray for me, but you don't believe in the same God she believes in.
That's it.
Yes,
Yes, Lord.
you can't be like, pray for me, but I'm going to still go serve this other God. How can my God show up in your life if you're not on connection of one accord with the same prayer?
That's right. Yes, Lord.
See, that's why some leaders get spiritually drained.
Uh-huh.
That's why some individuals get spiritually drained that truly have a relationship. But you know what? See, it's going to take your mustard seed. That's all God said you got to have. That's that mustard seed of faith.
Yes, Lord.
Everybody know how small a mustard seed is. It's tiny.
Yes.
Almost like a little speck. God said that's all you got to have in order to activate.
Yes.
God said that's all I'm requiring of you. If you can muster that mustard seed of faith to believe.
Yes, Lord.
Because I know everybody to be like, I don't want to listen to that. You know, I done been around this type of individual and they wasn't real. But when you come across a real one, then what?
All right.
It ain't that my prayer didn't work for you. You didn't follow your end of the bargain. See, that's why it's so easy for a lot of individuals to go listen to them prophets of Baal.
Yes.
You seeking one of them prophets, one of Satan's prophets.
Yes, Lord.
See? But God said only after the disaster will come upon disaster and the rumor will be upon rumor, then they will seek a vision from a prophet. See, people been seeking for a revival in the land. God finna give a revival in the land.
Yes, Lord.
But best believe it's going to get worse before it get better.
My God.
Because you know what? At the end of the day, each individual that's been asking God to do it and show himself strong, he going to show you through pain.
Yes, Lord.
Ah, my God.
Yes, Lord.
God going to show us through pressure.
Yes.
How you think you get a diamond?
Glory.
A diamond has to be constantly compacted and pressed and be put up under the fire of intense heat.
Glory.
As I said, be careful what you ask God for.
Yes, Lord.
See, some people just want to take people's word for it, even though a lot of times, sometimes the word be true. But my thing is, you got to do your work.
Yes, Lord.
Just like with your garden.
Yes.
Somebody give you some seeds, plant your seed.
Yes.
When you plant the seed, you got to cultivate that seed. You got to take care of the seed. You can't just put the seed in the ground and not tend to it and not give it no miracle grow or not give it no water, not give it no compost or cow manure, all that stuff that the nutrients need to help it grow.
Yes, Lord.
God said some of my people are just receiving the seed and they just put it on the top shelf. They ain't even trying to put it in the ground. But some things got to be, my God, got to go through a process. See, God is trying to show us how to, my God, germinate. To germinate our spirits back into the place where it needs to be. So sometimes we got to lay dormant for a while. We got to be isolated a while. See, my God.
Yes, Lord.
But in due time, that's where everything starts to sprout. But again, it takes work.
Glory.
It takes work even in our spiritual walk, just like it is with the seed. We have got to do the work in order to produce the harvest.
Yes.
And even when you see the little seedling grow, you still got to take care of it even more. We got to watch and make sure that, my God, the enemy don't try to come in and nibble on it.
All right. That's it.
You got to make sure you ain't got grubs hanging all around you trying to chew up the root so you can't grow.
Yes, Lord.
See, that is the same thing with our spiritual walk, y'all. Don't wait until it's too late.
Yes.
This is the reason why God said again, seek, seek, seek.
Yes.
Seek now.
Yes, Lord.
We have the opportunity to seek now. Why not do it?
Glory.
Because over in China, they killing Christians. They are torturing them to get them to denounce their faith.
My God.
See, right now we still got freedom.
Yes, Lord.
Because if they torturing Christians over there, you know they're not having church.
Yes, Lord.
They're not having church of going constantly in the building. So what they got to have church? They got to make sure they got the relationship on the inside.
Yes, Lord.
They got to make sure that regardless, because when people bust in on the door, my thing is this. Is you going to be around anybody? Probably not. Probably not.
My God.
Because you know what? A lot of people are probably going to scatter.
Yes, Lord.
But we got to seek the one thing that cannot be taken away from us. They cannot take it from us. So why not seek him now and store up the spiritual storehouse?
Yes, Lord.
My God. My God. We should already have a mindset to fear God above anything else.
Yes.
But again, people fear the virus more than God.
Yes, Lord.
Even though this virus is still going on, we still need to be cautious.
Yes, Lord.
But my thing is, what if you get it and you're not in right standings for God?
Oh, my God.
That's the question.
Yes, Lord.
What if you're not in the will of God if you did catch it?
My God.
See, that's the thing you need to be thinking about.
Yes, Lord.
All of us got a time clock.
Yes.
None of us know when our lifeline is the time of our lifeline is to get cut.
Yes, Lord.
Our people always say the good die young. Jesus died young too.
Yes, Lord.
But you know what? He had that one thing that couldn't nobody take away from him. He had his relationship with the Father.
That's right.
He had his relationship.
Oh, my God.
And you see what happened to him.
Yes,
And he did not one time waver.
yes, Lord.
My God.
Yes, Lord.
See, people, we have got to get ourselves in position to where God can be God truly in our life. He's trying to show us, but you know what? It's almost like, my God, what do you call that place where the casinos at in Las Vegas? Everybody keep looking at those flashing lights. Them flashing lights just so pretty to the eye.
Lord.
Everybody keep looking at the flashing lights that's drawing their attention, and you don't even realize you're walking into a trap.
Yes, Lord.
See, we got to see God like never before.
Yeah.
It ain't over. But the thing is, it's all about staying in the will of God and following his instructions.
Yes, Lord.
Go through the process of what God is taking us through right now.
Yes, Lord.
See, I don't want you to take this process and complain and murmur about it.
Yes, Lord.
Because a lot of people that have been connected to me, that I have spoken to, they see the manifestation
Yes, Lord.
of what God's been doing. It ain't nothing that I did.
Yes.
I just spoke what God say speak.
Yes, Lord.
But to see the manifestation of it and to get the praise reports.
Yes.
Like again, it ain't nothing I did. It's the whole point of they did what God told them to do.
Yes.
See, that's where the faith gonna start. But if we keep trying to make plans without including him in it, they're not gonna prosper.
Yes, Lord.
God is the only one that can prosper our way. He's the only one that can give us a peace in the time of trouble.
Yes.
He gonna give us the instruction to prepare. You know what? When you connected, he gonna give you the heads up.
Yes, Lord.
You may not have all the details, but the details that you do get when God say move, just go on and move.
Yes, Lord.
I don't know why and I don't understand, but let me go ahead and move.
Yes, Lord.
See, because he constantly still doing the setup, y'all. I don't know if anybody paying attention to it. He constantly doing the setup.
Yes, Lord.
And blessings been coming to everybody. He been raining on the just and the unjust in this seat. I don't know if y'all paying attention to it, but that's what I see.
Yes, Lord.
So again, if you see God doing these things and still blessing in the process,
Yes, Lord.
be a good steward and don't squander it like the prodigal son.
Yes, Lord.
Take your opportunities while we have it now.
Yes.
Seek the Lord while he is near. I'm telling you, but again, these scriptures we came out of Mathew chapter 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all the things shall be added unto you. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about its own things.
Yes, Lord.
Sufficient for the day is its own trouble.
Yes.
Take your time today.
Yes, Lord.
Take your time today to seek God's face like never before. Hey, take it a day at a time, like our pastor always told us.
Yes.
Take it a day at a time.
Yes, Lord.
Get our daily bread daily.
Yeah.
We can make time for everything else.
Yes, Lord.
But don't allow our feet to be so quick to run to what God is trying to pull us away from.
Yes, Lord.
But we thank God for each and every one. I pray that the word was a blessing to you. Again, we thank God for each and every one that is tuned in. I'm telling you, stay connected.
Yes, Lord.
If you stay connected, God's going to give you the peace.
Yeah.
Through all this turmoil, God will give you peace.
Yes, Lord.
And I know if He's been doing it for my household, I know He can do it for yours.
That's right.
He can truly do it. But you know what? We got to start building that relationship, following His instruction,
Yes.
and still staying close. But we thank God for each and every one. And God bless you until next time.